Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirisho here, and now, before we do get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, we had Deku. Deku, he battled off against Mirako and showed her one simple thing: the gap between their powers. He fought her using one quirk of the eight he does hold. He sent her running for a second while she was trying to regain her breath, and that was after Deku infected her with his version of the virus. Now, Mirko's body was properly healing and becoming a lot more human and less monstrous. However, while Deku extended the offer to Mirko, Dabi showed up, and he had a lot more confidence than he really should have. Deku gave him a false sense of security. He let his first attack seem like it phased him, in fact, take him out. Then Izuku proceeded to manhandle Dabi till someone came to his rescue, and that was where the situation ended. Deku nearly crushed Dabi's skull, and he even promised that he would feast on Dabi's brain, especially because him and his allies are a very big problem. Now, Deku, he then talked to Tsunade, who gave him an envelope with a letter inside, talking about the possibilities to come. Now, when he got back to UA, he sat there reading it before he used a quirk and burned it. And that is where Deku currently is at. Right now, it has been a day. He's asleep. After infecting Mirako and doing more with his power, trying to experiment more, test out these abilities, he went to bed. And he does currently sit there, on one of the thrones in a room, looking around. And people, they have been discussing a few more things. It's a very complicated thing. I mean, the other users aren't too sure how to deal with this. And there is actually Deku, who does go to Express. He gets it. Right now, apparently, he has all for one. That's what they're all saying. And then he, what? Got a hold of that flame quirk? It does appear so. Yoichi, what can you tell me about this ability? It's dangerous. It corrupted my brother. And, well, that is another thing. Another thing. You're still talking about the old world. The before the before. Listen, I'm asking for advice here. As far as I'm aware, I might be able to take a lot of abilities, do a lot more. Hell, get my hands on a Night Stalker, I can take their quirk. Or, never mind. I could help a lot more, learn a lot more. I just need to think about all of this. Think about what? It's simple. Deku's standing up and telling all of them. He told them what he'd do. Right now, they're just sitting here in this room in this illusion. He's not going to be here. In fact, he's got a lot of things to do, especially kill that old fuck who has some part in all of this. He's got control of the city, and he's going to take it back. That's what he's going to do. He doesn't want them looking over his shoulder every time he walks outside. Since this war, it's going to start. He has no choice in that. Hell, Dabi tried to throw the first punch, right? So now he's throwing back. Fine. Well then, Deku opening his eyes. And right now, he does lay there in bed. A few things beginning to stir in his mind. The gears beginning to move as he's remember what they have to do. It's a little early still, but hmm, he's nice and warm in his bed. Toasty? A little bit. Him going to bring his hand up. Before he does, gonna grab onto Nedre and gonna slowly move her off of him. Turning and gonna bring up his other hand. Currently gonna slide it up and out of Kami's grasp. Nedre beginning to stir as Deku, he does get a turn. Gonna bring his hand up and climbing over Toga. Before he has a get up and stretch. A few things going through his mind. There's already a lot of things planned out. A lot of things he does want to do. Him sitting on the edge of the bed, bringing his finger up and going to think. Before he does emit a small blue flame. And this ability, it does seem rather interesting. It's a blue fire. He saw the way that guy's quirk was acting, and the way his body is. A lot of smart zombies do have regeneration. I mean, Mina's neck healed, and assuming that one guy he killed before, he was able to get back up. There's still a lot more happening here that he doesn't know. Mirako is constantly packing on damage, and now she's asleep somewhere inside this building. That's good. That guy's body, though, it was destroyed. So, if he can try again, take his power, then that would be good. But he'd have to be more careful with it. If he's talking about a pyrokinesis quirk, then, well, he should have telekinesis. Maybe? Or no. He only set things on fire with his mind and can control flames. So he has control over a few other things. Okay. So going off the assumption that this quirk is an adolescent version, then that means a bit more. No. He used All for One's quirk subconsciously. No, he wanted to rip him apart. So he stole a part. Okay. He has to think on this a little bit more. Maybe see more about this whenever he does try to sit down and focus on his precognition. Try and pull more visions out. Then on his mind. Him hearing a noise for his turn. And Toga does somewhat begin to move. Him bringing his hand up and grabbing her shoulder. Before she's somewhat open her eyes. Still laying there and beginning to somewhat get more comfortable. Him telling her she has to get up. 5 more minutes? Sadly, no. You've got some work to do today. You've got to go find someone and take their spot, remember? We'll meet up. I'll see you later. Fine. But what do you want me to do with the person? Eat up or dispose of them? Just make sure no one can find them. I can arrange that, but it could be a little bit more difficult. Honestly, I'm worried that humans are kind of going to go extinct at this rate. I see you're thinking about it like I am a little. What do you mean? We're taking more people in. It sucks, but if we need to, we'll hunt. It might not come to it, but those creatures outside we can consume. They're still made of flesh. As far as I'm aware, there's a lot more secrets about this world we don't know. And however I came back, I want to learn more about that. Yeah, fair. But you're saying that we're taking in more people just in case? No, no. It's nice to have people around. Though, it's for another reason. Oh, okay. I'll get some food going. And then if I can, I'll go ahead and leave. Right. Okay. I'm gonna stand up. Currently, going to walk out of the room as Toga does sit there. Her looking around for a second, since she doesn't get properly dressed. Now, Deku, he does head down the hallway. Before he does, gonna head into the cafeteria and go to step into the room. Looking around and seeing that this massive building, this massive room, is completely empty. The only thing here is the entrance to the pit. This thing that leads down and down and down. He needs to figure out a way to go for the bomb. I mean, he has an idea, but that's nearly suicide. Send something after it, control it. If he makes a move for it, they'll expect it. He'll take out the heart, yeah, but what next? If the pit's connected to... okay. If the pit's connected to the hive, then those things will flood the entire city. They're talking about hundreds of millions of creatures running around the streets. And that idea, it does concern Deku. Him gonna walk over and stare down into this massive cavern that does lead into the ground. Currently, his feet going to step into the strange viscera. And it does cling to his shoe. Him looking down and staring at it. It's almost alive. It itself is almost a creature. That does give him another idea. If he does infect it here, how long would it take for the blood to travel? How long would it take for anything to happen? And that Deku is intrigued about. Currently, him gonna lower himself down and sit into the strangely soft and somewhat firm area on the ground. This little spot, it is odd. And Deku, he has to cross his legs before he has to close his eyes and begin to try and think. He needs to do more. Figure this out. He needs to either gain control of the pit and turn those creatures against All For One, or gain control of a massive army. Infecting the quote-unquote drinking water might be the best bet. If he can make it all the way back to him, then that could be quite an interesting little thing. And that is good to Deku's mind. Currently, Deku leaning forwards and putting his hands into the floor. Currently, him feeling the strange gore as it does begin to move. Deku feeling it move under his hands as he does sit there. And this, it does begin to happen. Deku keeps his eyes closed, and the minutes begin to pass by. And then the minutes do turn into an hour. And then they do turn into 2. And Deku, he is still trying to focus. Still trying to think. He's just letting his mind wander. Letting his mind drift. Trying to find if there's any danger in this. Trying to find any reason, any way. And that As for Deku, he doesn't open his eyes, looking around and seeing that he's nowhere. Hello? His voice echoing, nearly booming, feeling as if it's shaking this empty void. And that it does surprise Deku. Before the void does get a turn into a room, it taking form as Deku, he does go arrive back at his old apartment, looking around, and his blood, it feels cold looking at all this. The apartment, the way it was, and then the voice that is going to follow. Hello, boy. I'm going to turn. Who are you? I'm someone you are looking for. Have a seat. Deku looking at the table, watching as it does gonna shrink down, and then a cup does gonna sit there on this short circular table. And Deku, he does still stand, crossing his arms, talking about it. He'd rather not. So tell him, what exactly is happening? A hallucination? A vision? Or did he, what's the right word? Plug in? Ah, no. No, you did not. You are speaking directly to me. It's nice to see you again, boy. Again? Yes. At one point, you and we've talked. We've met. I told you much. There was a lot going on at that point, but you, you were quite the interesting person. You try to be good, but there is a large pile of corpses behind you, isn't there? And I'm guessing there's more than mine in your wake. There's a lot of people I've left dead behind me. But you, you did the work yourself. I've given orders. You did the dirty work with your bare hands. Killing, torturing, slicing a man's throat open, and shooting a unarmed woman, all because she pissed you off. Your point? My point is, Izuku, I think that we could work well together. Don't you agree? No, we might be able to, but I don't trust you. You don't. Well then, him bringing his hands down, and off one's visage does it change into that of Mirio. Talking about it, he could take this form. Someone he's met before, someone he's been face to face with. Does it make him more comfortable? This appearance of his. He's all about that, isn't he? Appearances. Seeing how people react to him. Ah, the information he does have on Izuku is quite something. Oh, quite the lovely little story. The love and loss. What do you know about it? I know the creature you killed. It hurt your friend, the person you loved. You were quite emotional. And what if I told you there was a way to bring her back? I I'd be inclined to call your bullshit. No tricks, no gimmicks. What if I offered her in exchange for your compliance? I'd say you would have already used that trick. Excuse me. You would have done it already. You would have tried that. The fact that you haven't either tells me you don't know who she is, or you don't know where her body is. Though I already think that that last part, that second one, it's quite bullshit. You found me the first time, or your proxy did. The Scald Man. His name is Dobby. I see. How is he doing? He's recovered. I cannot say the same for you, however. How are you? I'm not playing this game, all for one. Listen, the fact that you've made yourself known tells me I'm doing something right. You're scared of me, aren't you? I am not scared of anybody. Then why are you hiding behind someone else's face? All for one frowning, his appearance changing back to normal as he stepped forwards, expressing. He hides behind no one. Right now, he is trying to make a deal, trying to be civil since they are standing on top of a gold mine. And he would rather not have that mine collapse with his workers inside. You don't care about anything. Do I not? And how about you? You care for a lot of things. Pleasures of the flesh, flesh itself. That deep little dark thought creeping into your mind at this moment. What does it tell you? What does it give you? Excitement, or are you afraid of it? I survive. I don't like it, but a part of me has to like it. Does it now? Is that how you justify yourself? We're not talking anymore. Currently, Deku opening his eyes, still hearing All for One try to reach into his mind. However, he has to look down, him feeling the ground shake as he does gonna move backwards. Currently, him flying up into the air as he's sliding across the floor first. Him gonna watch as part of that mine down below, or the tunnel, does begin to collapse. Deku staring at the part of the pit that does still remain in the cafeteria. And some people, they do come running in. And Izuku, he has a flash in his mind. His precognition going off. And this does tell him quite a bit. Currently, him turning his head and looking around, seeing multiple people who do get to stand here. And they all do look worried. Especially because that path down, I mean, it closed itself off. And the area right now in front of them, it's on its own. They've never seen this, but a part of their mind, a part of their being is feeling a strange sense to it. Almost like a call. And that it does have some of them worried. Before there is Chizuki, who does begin to express. Right now, he has a bad feeling about a lot of things. Do you? Yes, I do. I've been going over a lot, but it's not needed. Right now, we need to get a meeting together. Toga's gone. She's out on a mission. I want you to get me Shinso. Stop his interviews if possible. Ibara? Yes? Where's the ape man? He's back at the warehouse. I'm sure he's gone hunting. He's stuck to your orders. Good. Now, I want you all back here in an hour. After that's said and done, we'll have a bit of a discussion. I fear there's something I've seen. Someone in the current area looking around. and they are all dismissed. As Deku, he does think. He doesn't know when it might happen, but he's got to consider this lightly. Should he let a vision determine his next action? Paranoid? No, no. Cautious. Everything he's seen so far, it's led him to believe he's seeing actions that will come true. So, that does have him worried. He's seen something that he should not have seen. An attempt on his life. One that is nearly successful. And if it is, it could become quite the problem. Someone is going to try to kill him. He doesn't know when it will be. Will it be after the battle with All For One, or before? If it's before, that will leave him weak to face it off against All For One, and he may not be able to win. He might die in that battle. If it's after, where he's thrown everything he has at All For One, that would mean he could be in a weakened state, or he lets his guard down too much. And this is something Deku does need to think more on. He's starting to get it. He's starting to do it. And this, it does mean quite a bit more. He just needs another push. And this is where Deku, he does want to sit there. Nejire walking up and asking him exactly if he's alright. Her bending down. I'm fine. I'm fine. What did you do? I don't know. I think I took a little bit of his territory, but that's still a mystery. Are you sure? I mean, how deep does that go? Not sure yet. Though the fact that it is still here means a bit. Listen, I'm trying to... Huh. What? My Night Stalkers. They've encountered difficulties, but they're fine. The ones you sent after him? After the traitor, yes. Listen, Nejire. I'm seeing something bad. I need you to know. Right now, I'm making something very apparent. Do you understand? What I tell you does not leave your lips until everyone's returned. I understand. Thank you. Her is sitting with Izuku. And Deku, he does consult her about the things he's seen. Her quite surprised, quite intrigued. And whenever everyone does get a return, there currently is where people, they do go to gather around. And the group does currently consist of the following. Deku, Mina, Nejire, Tamaki, Ibara, Jiroda, Chizuki, Fat Gum, Shinso, Kami, and Mirako. Along with the fact that the missing people, Toga and All Might, they're not here. Now, there also is Shindo and Anosa. The two, they have still been adjusting to this infection. They do need to feed. And Deku, he does sit there. Currently, him telling them all that right now, he wants them all to be quite aware of something. He is planning to lead them into an event that may cause a lot of trouble for them. He wants to lead them into a war. With their abilities combined, he believes that they can take back this city. He's crafting a plan and they do have someone they can work with to achieve it. Right now, he needs to retrieve All Might from the bunker later. After that's said and done, he needs to go looking for more allies. People that can not only fill their ranks, but who he can possibly take power from. And everyone, they just had to look around. Some of them surprised, alarmed. And Deku, he does go to bring up his hand, lighting a finger and revealing his ninth quirk. And all of them, they are quite surprised. Before Izuku, he does talk about it. Yes, right now they're well on their way to establishing a nice little kingdom. And he is well on his way to getting there one step at a time, walking up and expressing, bringing his hand up, putting it on to someone's shoulder. That he has given them all trust. Looking at Ibara, he wants her to know. He is giving her a lot of trust with his decision. He doesn't need to trust her. He could kill her at any moment, turning to Jirota, talking about it. He nearly took his life, but he spared him. And how does he feel now? Deku staring at someone more human-sized. And the man, he does express a little bit of gratitude at the fact that he does feel a little more like his old self, since he doesn't need to run around that big anymore. But he can still turn that way, still change in size and have that extra muscle. And Deku does a smile, turning his head, telling the entire little crowd he's relying on a lot of them for a bit of a different thing. However, that is where he does have some sad news. Bring his hand on Tachiki's shoulder. Right now he does believe there is a traitor among their midst. And people do begin to look around. Deku turning to Chiziki, expressing to him, he's a doctor. Yes, I am. Good. What would you recommend? What should we do? We've got time. Before the oncoming days, what do you think I should do? Before what? Before this war. I need to know. Do we risk it? Let them feed false information? Or do something else? Deku turning, looking directly at Shinso, telling him, what does he think they should say? I'm not sure. Okay, listen. I'm giving all of you a little bit of trust, and I expect that back in return. However, it's hard to trust all of you whenever I know one of you is going to kill me. So, I do have to say this. Currently, Deku turning, telling Shinso to say it. And Shinso does a look directly at Chiziki, telling him to kneel. Him gonna turn and look back at Deku a little bit more alarmed, before his eyes go blank and he does begin to lower himself down. His body should not fight back this urge he was told to do, fighting this command he was given. And Deku, he does watch Chiziki fall to his knees, talking about it. Now, he is going to let them all know. Chiziki here did a lot of things for him. A lot of things for his group. He was there to put Setsuna at ease. He was there to save her life, and he saved the life of his son. So, Deku, still with his hand on his shoulder, bending down, telling Chiziki, right now he wants him to know. He's a very weak-willed man. He thought that this one might be a little bit harder, but he'll give the traitor a chance to speak freely. His eyes going back to normal. You can't be serious. Why? What reason do I have? I don't know. You tell me. Why would you betray me? Your abilities. You restored this entire school to what? Its old glory? Before? It's great. You could turn sand into glass, can't you? I remade walls. I fixed windows. Yes, but the way you did it, tell me. How much more powerful has your ability become, Cheesecake? What do you think you could do with it if you gained full mastery over it? Up, up, up. No, no. You see, I could feel that right there. You're trying to turn a part of my brain into lead. See how dangerous that could be? His eyes going wide before Deku's pull his hand away and tell him. Right now, they've got a lot they can go over. Deku holding up one of his hands, talking about it. But right now, he's taken that ability from him. And people do get to stare at Deku, who does go to look back at the man, telling him, this ability will be quite useful. You can't kill me. And why can't I do that? I saved your son's life. I saved her life. I saved yours. Last time I was counting, I saved 2. You saved 1. You... I what? I owe you? You want to kill me. Even now, Jizuki. If I let you walk away right here, right now, you are still an infected of my blood. So, I'm gonna let you know one little thing. I would have let you go if you had asked. Let you do what you want after you help me. That was an option. But this idea of taking my life, I don't know why you would do it. What? Overconfident, cocky, or do you think I got compliant? I saw it a little bit more than you think. So, Chizuki, I'll tell you this. My debt to you ended the moment those first little thoughts entered your mind. So now, I do want to say one thing. Him turning and telling everyone. He wants them to remember this. Loyalty is nice and good. He will let them reign free. He'll give them what they want. Afterwards, they are free to do what they want. He simply wishes to take out this thing in control and take it for himself. Now, looking at Shizuki, Deku gonna wave his hand at Shizuki. He does begin to come apart. His skin beginning to unravel. And the man, he does go to explode violently. And Deku does stare at that. Before everyone, they do go to look around. Shizuki's lower half gonna fall forwards and begin to bleed all over the floor. And Deku does look down at that. Before he has hold his hand up and try to think. Okay, that might take some getting used to. Though, definitely a strong power. The ability to, what? Pull apart and remake matter. Okay. Now this. This he can work with. But there's so many complicated things to this. How it works? No, no. An image. No, no. If an ability like this required you to know certain things, then. Hmm. But he pulled Tizzy apart. He rewarped matter. Okay, okay. It's not that sophisticated. But more so than that, he's got to practice this one. It definitely will come in handy. And that, Deku, he does think a bit more about. For he's going to turn and tell everyone. They're dismissed. He's got to go find more people. But first he needs to go collect All Might. Make sure that he is alright. And right now, let's currently cut over to the bunker. There was Lady Nagant, who the night before she took action against the members of the committee who were making a bit of a plan. And people, they don't believe her. They walked onto the scene and found her with an empty gun and multiple people dead. I mean, you had the chief of security, the person in charge of all these people, murder her bosses. And the only one with as much authority as her is the former pro Endeavor. That that looks very bad, especially right now. I mean, she was catatonic just staring at a gun. She practically followed them. She was like a zombie herself walking into that cell. She wasn't a threat. And that, it had more people questioning everything. Why she would do this. Why it happened. And the number one person with questions was Endeavor. As you do currently have where he's a step into the room and look around. Him turning and asking somebody exactly if he can have a private moment. Sorry, Endeavor. I can't do that. Listen, she's still considered to be armed and dangerous. With her quirk? Really? How many levels do you think she'd have to go through before she even gets to the surface? Endeavor, sir, that's not the problem. She would have to make it through our quarantined areas. And getting through those levels, last time I checked, was not going to be easy. We have armed sentries. Yes, sir, I understand. And your concerns are warranted. But this is Lady Nagant. Miss Nagant, she is still quite formidable, crafty. You can have a moment alone, yes, but I would not have to. Listen, I'm going on break. I'll be back in 10 minutes. If I come back and she's loose or she's gone, I am saying you are a accomplice. And I don't need to tell you what that does mean, sir. You don't. Well, comply. The man turning. An Endeavor does stare at Nagant. Her messy hair. Her fresh clothes. She was allowed to clean herself off with supervision. And currently the person on guard, they just step out of the room, turning to the two outside and telling them if they hear anything suspicious, then they are to go inside. Escort the former pro outside of this room and keep him away. If anything happens, then react accordingly. But they would rather not have Endeavor killed or injured if possible. That could cause more commotion. and the two do a nod. The person stepping out and heading to their secret spot for a smoke. Since right now, they fucking need it. And we do currently have Endeavor, who does go to ask the number one question everyone's having. Why did you just shoot them? It's complicated. Complicated? Figuring out what you want to wear is complicated. Figuring out what you want for lunch is complicated. Murder isn't. This isn't you, and you know that. Kana beginning to tell Endeavor a bit about what she heard. She was given the chance to hear that meeting and know what they wanted to do. They were going to kill Fuyumi and send him out, trying to just find people who might die. What? The people leaving this afternoon. They were going to frame them for kidnapping Fuyumi. They were going to trick someone into taking her out and, well, they wanted you to just run after her. And they wanted me to hurt people again. They think that they don't matter anymore. Kana, I killed them. That's all that's going on. The family is safe and we'll be okay once we get this all sorted out. Endeavor is staring at her. And right now she does sit there. Her not even able to look up. Not looking at Endeavor. Not willing to, unable to. And he does stare at this. She was protecting his family. And she's going to tell him, try to look for more people. Find out who's missing. There's more to this. The committee, their fucking assistants, whoever is stepping up, they might know about the projects they've been working on. Projects? They were talking about experimentation. Stop it. Or, fuck, just figure this out, okay? I will. Listen, I need to, someone's stepping in, beginning to express to Mr. Endeavor that right now they've got a bit of a situation. What is it? Mr. Endeavor, we need you to come to the security room immediately. No. You need to tell me exactly what is going on. We're not leaving this room until you do. Mr. Endeavor, the people who are trying to step up, they are currently hearing a lot of push back. What do you mean? You're the most influential voice in the space, sir. With the fact that the members of the committee have been taken out, you have the most authority at the current moment. Publicly, sir. So, these people want me to step in for appeal. We need you to calm people down. They don't believe that they can. The only other person who would have the ability to help keep peace is currently locked behind bars. So they need you to help at the moment. Our situation, it's gotten worse, and that hasn't even been made public yet. What is currently worse? The person going to hold up a phone, it showing a picture as Endeavor, he does go to look at it. Him gonna stare at it for a second before he does notice one thing at the bottom left of the picture. A live feed. And it does get to show Deku currently him floating outside the warehouse, floating outside this facility that has been locked down and lost to the new world. And that it does give Endeavor quite a bit of a surprise. As Deku, he does float there, bringing his hands to his head and making a symbol for All Might's hair. And Endeavor, he does ask how long ago this was taken. There's a few minutes delay. He's been doing that around every 15, 20 seconds. Sir, I think he's here for... Shh. No, you are not talking now. Where is All Might? He's still in a quarantine zone, sir. We need to let him out. That's unadvisable. If we do, then, well, people will know. We can't sneak him out stealthily. Yes, and would you rather have him come in here? Currently, us cutting back to Deku, who does stand there, floating in the air and waiting. Him wondering if anybody even has seen him on the camera. You'd want to be aware of it. You'd want to know a lot. And right now, Deku, he does get a turn seeing the massive door beginning to part. The metal wall going to slide open. And it does going to reveal Endeavor, who does come stepping out and going to ask, exactly what is he doing here? Him walking out of the massive building, which is 1 story tall and hidden among heavily foliaged trees. I'm here for All Might. Along with that, I needed to be here. What do you mean? If I told All Might to return to me, he would not return. Do you understand that? Besides, I'm sure there's a lot going on here, isn't there? People need to see me. Isn't that what you told me before? I'm here, and I'm here to take back my former mentor. Listen, there's a lot happening. You can't go in there. Are you going to try and stop me? We both know I can't. Listen, there is a situation that is bad. Okay. Where's Todoroki? Todoroki's gone. I sent him away after telling him the situation. Lovely. Okay, so he's out of the city. Good. What? Why is that good? He's another person they can use to get to her. Listen. I am here to reclaim what's mine. He's not yours. Endeavor, right now I've got a lot to do today. Alright? So either I walk in that room, or I walk in that room carrying your head. Do you understand me? I'm not here to negotiate nor to play nice. I'm telling you, I'd rather not get blood on my hands. Now, do we have to play this nicely, or will I have to kill you? Fine. I'll comply. But do know that people are not going to like this. I don't care. The two walking towards the building. Currently, people on camera watching on his endeavor does lead this man directly towards the elevator. Them stepping in as security, they do go to radio Endeavor, asking him for the situation. And he does get to tell them all. to stand down. Weapons are ineffective against what is currently inside the bunker, and it is not currently an active threat. In the elevator, it does it open. People standing there with their weapons as Deku does step out. Some civilians watching on, seeing the situation. And Deku does look around before someone does a step forwards and try to bring up a weapon, yelling at Deku to bring his hands up since they're going to take him into custody. And Deku's going to turn to them before he does go to pull them up into the air and have them flying forwards. Deku going to watch them stop a few feet in front of him before he does a step forwards towards them. They have no power here. Now, he's going to let them go. If he has to make another example, then he's going to kill that person. Do they understand? Izuku. Deku, hearing that voice, before he does gonna let the person go and they do drop to the ground, terrified, trying to regain their breath. They just felt that sudden force pull them in his eyes, this feeling in their chest. It just had them afraid. And Deku does a turn. Him, gonna see his All Might, does come stepping out, currently him on full display. And people, they do go to part as Deku does see the massive man go to make his way towards him, telling All Might to get in the elevator, since they've got to go. And people, they do start to make a bit of a commotion. One person raising their voice and yelling, asking if they can leave with him. And Deku's a turn. Some people yelling out that they want to go. They want to go. And people, they do go to start trying to pile past security as Deku is to bring his hand up. Him snapping his fingers as people, they hear the massive sound. Deku going to have his fingers glowing red as he is a turn, yelling at all of them. Right now, he's got a place some people can go to if they want to leave. Deku began to say, he's heard about their little problem. People want to stay open, people want to stay closed. He's got a simple little solution. Those who want to stay open, come and go as they please. Yeah, they can't do that. So, how about he offers them a safe place on the outside world? One where he offers protection. There are caveats, rules they will follow, but they remain safe. That he can guarantee. Just listen to what he has to say. And those who want to stay here and hide behind closed doors, they get to have that too. Obviously, there are conditions. So, Deku looking around, before his eyes go for somebody and stop, going back for a second and staring at a man. A man who does sit there. And the moment they do see Deku, they do look down, look away. And this, it does tell Deku a few things. As right now, he does have a bit of rage on his face. For the man is pulled up into the air and pulled towards Deku. Deku, with his hand up as the man, does have his throat smashed in Deku's hand. Deku telling them, except for this man. This man is a family member of someone he once knew, once trusted. Hello, Mazuro. Izuku. Put him down. No, All Might. This is personal. Deku lowering him down, telling him, right now there's a lot they've got to talk about. Bakugo's still trying to find him. Does he know that? He's alive? Yes, he's alive. And from what I'm here, he's going to be a father. So you're going to be a grandfather. Or you were going to be. Right now, I'm tracking Bakugo down, trying to find him. And if I do need to, I can use you as bait. Lure him back in. What happened to you? Oh, where's that? No, no, not another word. The only thing I want to hear out of your mouth is what I want you to say. Do you understand? I thought finding you might be harder, but here, of all places. Fate does work in mysterious ways, doesn't it, Mazuro? Deku, hearing a sound, looking at his people do have their weapons drawn. And Deku, he does get a turn, dragging Mazuro out of the bunker, towards the elevator, telling them, right now he wants them to head for UA. Those who do want to come above ground and live somewhere safe. Otherwise, they can all stay here and continue to fight. Eventually he'll come for those who remain. Even if they lock that door, he'll come through. And they better hope he's the one knocking when he does. If he doesn't get here first, then he's here for what they have buried down here. Deku going to leave. And when the elevator does it close, people do stare at that. They drag the man off. And he's giving them a choice. Some people intrigued by it, some skeptical and some worried. Though Deku, he gave them all a choice. Trust him, or eventually start killing each other. Take your pick. Pick your poison, whatever the fuck you want to say. Right now his mind is preoccupied with a lot of things he currently does have planned. And right now, he has to drag his victim back to UA, since this is a very special day indeed. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.